Welcome, everybody. This is Mkuu Mzee. Yeah, as I always say, your favorite elder.
Yes, sir.
And my favorite elder is on with me, my brother, Dr. Batu Shakari. How you doing, brother?
Great, fantastic.
Oh man, good to see you, man. We had promised the people that we'll come back with a part two because we had an issue with the video,
For sure.
with part one. Um, my brother Batu Shakari is the founder and director of the African World Research Institute and also of the Temple of Ankh-Rek.
Hmm.
And I didn't spell that out last time. I want to make sure people know. Ankh-Rek is Ankh, Rek, Rek, the Temple of Ankh-Rek. And so people can
KH.
A-N-K,
ANKH.
Ankh,
Right.
and then Rek, Ankh-Rek.
KH.
Say again?
It's REKH.
Oh, you okay. All right. Well, you got a typo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got a typo here, bro.
Yeah.
Correct. Ankh. I'm glad you pointed that out, man, because I would have been saying without the H too.
Right.
So yeah, you're the founder director of the Temple of Ankh-Rek, Ankhrek,
Yes.
and we got that right finally. So we left off with um, we didn't quite get to the tribute for the great ancestor Nkosi Mundari, the
Hmm.
great ancestor Dr. Nkosi Mundari. We give him all his props that he deserves.
For sure.
Um, and we were getting into his DVD about the killer in the house.
Hmm.
So let me preface that real quick with violence. And his whole DVD, when he's talking about the killer in the house, obviously he's talking about violence and a whole lot of other, psychological, physical, and socio-economic, physical things.
Hmm.
But for the classic definition of violence is the intentional use of physical force and power, actual or threatened, against oneself, another person, or a group, resulting in or having a high likelihood of causing injury, death, psychological harm, or deprivation. It is a broad term encompassing physical assault, sexual coercion, psychological abuse, and damage to property. So there's different types: self-directed, interpersonal, collective, war, i.e., war, terrorism,
Hmm.
physical force, sexual violence, psychological, emotional abuse, economic deprivation, and of course, as Black people, we're experiencing all that stuff. And then, of course, the context of it is that it can be very structural, embedded in social structures. So
Hmm.
we have the enemy both within and without our realities, our paradigms of our
For sure.
realities. So that's what
Hmm.
the brother really, really was very good at discussing in his video, Killing the House. So
Hmm.
what I'm going to do, and um, the concept of violence is just one clip, the one 3 minute, clip out of that DVD. And
Hmm.
what I'm going to do, since uh, I'm going to play it, even though it's in the first video that me and the brother Batu just had done before the part one,
Hmm.
we want to make sure the people that missed that get it.
Hmm.
And that way we'll start off fresh.
Okay.
So let's do that. Embrace violence and master violence. Remember also, brothers and sisters, peace is born out of violence. That's right. If you demonstrate the capability and willingness to exact violence on a level comparable to your adversary, you will experience peace. It is no surprise that a gun is called a peacemaker. On the other hand, that's right. If you turn your face away from violence, you frown on violence, and are unwilling to understand its utmost importance and master it, then you will experience the violence of others perpetrated on you, and you will have no peace. Your vulnerability will lead to your victimization, which will ultimately lead to your extermination. Violence is as much a vital function of the universe as the heartbeat is to the human body. The heart beats continuously, constantly, to keep the body alive. If the heartbeat stops, the body ceases to function, death occurs. Violence in the universe is continuous, it is constant, in order to keep the universe alive and functioning. If the violence ceases, the universe ceases to function, balance is corrupted, death occurs. Violence is a manifestation of the functionality of universal law. I said violence is a manifestation of the functionality of universal laws. The law of self-preservation, the law of neutrality, the law of opposites. The first law of self-preservation dictates and compels you to place self and kind above and beyond anything. That's right. The law of neutrality simply dictates your relationship to the one creator, which is absolute neutrality, which simply means you have no help coming from on high. The law of opposite dictates your relationship to other life forms in creation, be they from the same species or not. That's right. Which is often adversarial, antagonistic, and often hostile to each other in varying degrees. Again, it is the functionality, the modus operandi, if you will, that these three laws manifest violence. Violence that is inherent, it is innate, it is built in, it is unavoidable. That's right.
All right.
Great work.
Yeah,
Great work.
awesome brother, man. And
Absolutely.
I really hope that people take the opportunity to contact you and get that brother's. I'm pushing the DVD because I look at it as being so awesome, and very few things these days impress me.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? And
Yes, sir.
he just that one piece of work impressed me. And I want to get the book. I want to get his other two books. But give me your feedback. You knew the brother better than anybody, man. Give me your feedback on the clip and the DVD and the brother in a whole in the package.
Oh yeah. Dr. Mundari, again, I've said it before, Dr. Nkosi Mundari was an intellectual giant in the African world. There's no question about it whatsoever. No
Right.
question. And that's confirmed by his work, not just my opinion, because I know him and we interacted with each other. At one point, he was the assistant director at the African World Research Institute.
Okay.
So most definitely, we had a very close relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't say he was an intellectual giant just because I had a close relationship with him.
Right.
It is because of his work.
Yes.
His work speaks for itself.
Yep.
And this is the reason why it's so critically important that we look at the work of individuals.
Yeah.
That piece that he put out on A Killer in the House was a masterpiece. It was a masterwork.
It was.
Okay, and you can tell when you look, those who get their hands on that DVD, you can tell from looking at the DVD that he put his work in. He did his research.
Yep.
Okay, and his delivery was immaculate.
Yep.
Right on point. And again, and you pointed that out, that was just a portion of what he was talking about.
Right.
But certainly when he talked about violence, we're talking about the violence of one people against another people. Sure, there are many types of violence.
Yep.
Okay, there's intellectual violence, there's political violence, emotional violence. I mean, violence comes in many forms. There's no question about it. But what he was centering in on was, as he put it in the tape, the killer in the house.
Yep.
The fact that African people have a killer in the house.
Yep.
And that killer is the European world primarily.
Yeah.
And I want to underscore that primarily, but not exclusively. And this is something that we need to understand. Okay. African people have more enemies than simply Europeans. That's just a fact. Europeans, and I've stated this before, Europeans have been on our case for thousands of years. Okay. We have been under attack from the European world for thousands of years, ever since ancient Kemet. So we're talking thousands of years of violent attacks coming from the European world. But it hasn't been just Europeans, because other nations have been sitting back, looking at the successes that Europeans have been able to score against African people, and other nations have joined the fray.
Yes, they did.
So that they themselves can also take advantage of our state of dependence, vulnerability, weakness, disunity, disorganization, So Arabs decided to jump into the fray too. Prior to them, we had the Jews that was on our case.
Yeah.
So we have a multitude of foreign predator nations. And today you got the newest kids on the block who have also been attracted to taking advantage of the African world. That would be the Chinese. So all of them see the African world as being easy prey. Any nation of people, and I say this all of the time, any nation of people who is divided, disunited, dependent, is weak and vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's all it is to it. You're weak and vulnerable. And any nation of people who's weak and vulnerable is going to be the target of other nations who are not. That's just a fact. That you don't have to have, that's not rocket science.
Nope.
That's just something that has been occurring throughout the so-called human kingdom ever since we've been in existence.
Yep.
And the pity of the thing is, which is what Dr. Nkosi was pointing out to us, that we have seen this killer in the house for all of these thousands of years. And yet we have failed to respond appropriately to their attacks. Oh, yeah, we've been, quote unquote, responding, but the responses that we have put up have been ineffective.
Yep.
And your responses are ineffective because you can look and see that your circumstance and the condition in the world has not changed significantly. Sure. And Dr. Nkosi pointed that out. Sure, we have become more comfortable slaves, but nevertheless, we still remain slaves.
Yep.
Comfort does not eliminate a people's enslavement. It never has, and it never will. I've stated for over 60 years that a people can be made extremely comfortable and still be slaves.
Yep.
Discomfort is something that just speaks to the fact of your circumstance and condition, in terms of, how you're being treated by the people who have you enslaved. But it does not define your enslavement. Your enslavement has to do with your state of dependence and who has control over every aspect of your life, politically, economically, intellectually, spiritually, technologically, militarily. That is what defines a people's enslavement.
Absolutely.
Are you dependent on these people? Are you vulnerable to these people? So much so that they can do basically anything they want to do to you. And because of how the position that they have maneuvered you into, because of that position, you are unable to effectively respond to what they're doing to you. And what African people have decided to do, we've decided that we're just going to do whatever little things that we can do to make ourselves more comfortable. For overwhelmingly the African world, and I'm not just talking about black people here in America, and we need to be clear that when Dr. Nkosi was talking about the killer in the house, he's talking about the killer in the house relative to the entire African world, not just us here in America. African people are being targeted by the European world all over the planet.
Yep.
It's not just us in their house. Okay. So what we've decided to do, we're just going to settle, and that's exactly what we're doing. We've decided we're going to settle for a more comfortable state of enslavement.
Yeah.
Okay. We've come to the erroneous conclusion that we can't get out of the circumstance and condition that we find ourselves in. It's nothing that we can do to these people. There's nothing we can do with these people. They have all of the power. They have all of the control. They're united. They're organized. Just go on down the whole laundry list of the things that they have that put you and I at a disadvantage to them. And we look at those things and we say, okay, they got all of this. And then we look at ourselves and we say, well, we ain't hardly got none of that. So since we don't have any of that, we say that the expedient thing for us to do is just work on being comfortable while we're here. They got us in a death trap. So let's just get comfortable in the death trap that we're in. We continue to completely ignore the fact that a death trap has an end game. A death trap has an end game. The end game of a death trap is death. That's the end game. I'm not going to keep you in a death trap and I'm not going to kill you.
Right.
I'm keeping you in a death trap based upon the fact that I'm still able to exploit you and use you and no, not just exploit, super exploit. I'm going to keep on super exploiting you all over the planet. And that's the reason why I've been keeping you alive. It ain't got nothing to do with you have been resisting your enemy, and that's the reason why he's been keeping you alive. It ain't got nothing to do with that, because your resistance has been ineffective, and that has been proven by the fact that you remain under their domination and control, no matter what things you have done to resist him.
Yep.
So this is the point that Nkosi was making, that violence is a natural and normal part of the universe. It's nothing abnormal about violence. Violence happens all of the time, all over the planet, all over the universe. The catch is nations who are rational, responsible, and dead serious, they put themselves in a position whereby they don't become the victims of other people's violence. That's the key.
Right.
I have to I have to put myself in a position as a people whereby other nations cannot violate me violently. I don't have to suffer under their wrongdoing and violence because I haven't prepared myself for their wrongdoing and violence. And we can't tell the lie that we don't know how these people are. I just got through saying they've been doing their thing to us for thousands of years. What the hell are you talking about? You don't know. You and I do know.
Yep.
They have shown us in no uncertain terms that they have a propensity for wrongdoing and violence. I have said, and I'll continue to say, Europeans in particular, but it's not just specific to Europeans, but Europeans in particular, they love violence.
Love it.
They love killing and taking other people's stuff, especially other people's land. That's why they have a long track record of going across the world, killing other people, taking their land, destroying their civilizations and cultures, and then ultimately committing genocide against them. I say it all of the time. Europeans are not new to committing genocide against other nations. They've been doing it.
Yep.
And at this point, they have mastered it. Because now they have gone into silent warfare. Now I can take you out, and I really and truly, I don't even have to fire a shot. I have got so good at the science of killing, I know how to kill you without even blowing your brains out. I used to have to chop you up or shoot you or something like. I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to do none of that anymore. I got drugs, I got alcohol, I got birth control, I got abortions, I got homosexuality, I got new vaccines that's coming out. This guy, this European Gates, this guy has already told the whole world that it's another virus that's going to be hitting, and when that virus hits, then we'll have these vaccines available. Nobody wants to talk about the amount of people that died from the vaccines. Ain't nobody talking about that. What are you doing? What are we doing as a people? As a people, taking any other people's medicines to heal ourselves with. That's a problem in and of itself. Especially, and underscore this especially when the people who you taking these medicines from are the self-same people who have raped you, robbed you, murdered you, kidnapped you, and have you in a death trap, even as we speak.
Yep.
That is a problem that you and I must solve. I didn't say we should solve it, or it would be a good idea for us to solve it, or maybe we can just talk about these things. You and I are not going to talk our way out of a death trap. You and I are going to have to work our way out. Yep. And fight our way out. That's what's going to have to happen with us. I wanted to take the time, and this ties right in with what Nkosi said on his tape. Okay. Relative to violence. Okay. I just want to take a time, and please bear with me, because it's something that I want to read. And I want to read it. I could say it, but I want to read it because I don't want to miss the information that I took the time to write down.
Absolutely.
Okay. See, this is one of the reasons why I done got away on Facebook. Okay. I have a little, page on Facebook, and I put stuff out. I'm getting away from wasting my time doing all this talking, and I know I done wrote 12 books that talk about the stuff that I'm dealing with here.
Right.
I've been writing for over 40 years. I got 12 books, major works. I'm not going to waste my time bantering back and forth with you on things that I done wrote about years ago. No, I'm gonna put up my link so that you can go and buy the book. You do your own research, you do your own study. I'm not wasting no time picking out the long discourses and long answers to what you got to say about this, that, and the other. And I done wrote about this stuff 30 years ago, 40 years ago. The stuff that you just not catching up with. We need to be clear. We got work to do. So let me read this right quick.
Before you start, just talking about the people who are doing all this stuff, that's bantering back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I almost give the young people kind of a pass, almost. Even though they get ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's these old fools out here.
Come on.
That have not done any research and hadn't read any. You can tell by their conversation that they don't know any damn thing, but they want to tell you something about a certain situation or circumstances for African people. Again, just like you said, you wrote about 35, 40 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I just want to put that out there, man. Young people get a pass from me for the most part, unless they get disrespectful. But these old dudes out here, man, acting like they can tell you any damn thing, don't have no body of work whatsoever.
Right.
They're gonna try to tell you what you know, what it is. And we've done. I'm not as well read and versed as you, my brother. I've always said that every time we talk. I always say that. I make sure I put myself out there. I always humble myself to people with superior intellectual map. Okay, so I'll give you your props there, but I don't. I'm not a lightweight either.
That's right.
I'm not a lightweight either. So anybody who comes my way with that crap, you better be armed. You better have some damn elephant shells in your gun.
There you go.
But that's what you're gonna need if you want to banter with me on an intellectual level, because I'm not no lightweight either. But go ahead, brother. I just want to make sure I put that out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're absolutely right. I just want to dovetail on what you just said. You got all these people out here jumping on these social media platforms. They don't have no published significant literature to back up what they're talking about.
Right.
They haven't built any institutions anywhere. I'm talking brick and mortar institutions anywhere in the world. Your platform is Facebook, Twitter, European established platforms.
Yes.
That's what you operating out of. That's your claim to fame.
Right.
That ain't getting it.
No.
For us to build the nation that we have to build, you and I have got to have individuals who have the knowledge, the skills, and the expertise backed up by years of being in the trenches, doing the work. Those are the individuals who should be at the forefront of our liberation struggle.
Right.
Not these folks out here that know a little something, done read a little something, maybe walked around when some of our greats was around, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Amos Wilson. They done rub elbows with them.
Right.
And now you're trying to ride a wave on your association with them. I don't go with that. No. You got to show me the work that you done put in.
Right.
I know what they did. They put in the work. That's why they got a body of literature behind what they talking about. And many of them built institutions.
Yep.
Okay? This is what we're talking about. So I concur with what you said 1,000%. But let me read this right quick.
Yes, sir.
And this is in line with what Dr. Nkosi Mundari was talking about. Okay, which is still the absolute reality facing us today.
Absolutely.
There is still a killer in the house.
Okay.
And his carnage is stacking up bodies all over the African world. Because we keep ignoring the fact that he's in the house.
Yep.
Just like Dr. Mundari said. But let me read this.
Okay.
And this is talking about this is me dealing with the issue of us talking black liberation with no plan of action to achieve it.
Okay.
Oh, we good at that. Talking black liberation with no plan of action to actually achieve it. So let me read this right quick. Globally, the Kemetic Black African world is 1 billion people strong. We talk about black liberation, but us talking about it versus us actually doing it is two entirely different things. Two entirely different things. Liberation means we must secure total power and control over every aspect of our own lives, land, development, and destiny. It means we must take full responsibility for feeding, clothing, housing, educating, employing, healing, protecting, and doing everything else required to keep ourselves. Now, we're talking about a people that's 1 billion strong, keeping ourselves healthy, wealthy, happy, and alive. That's what liberation is about.
Yep.
It's about you doing all of that. How you gonna feed yourself? How you gonna house yourself, clothe yourself? You doing all this liberation talk. Okay, so what plan of action do you have to make that a reality? Well, we can make ourselves, as I said, healthy, wealthy, happy, and keep us alive. Show me the literature that you have written that spells out for us the things that we must do step by step for us to achieve these things right here.
Teach.
I've written a book, the last book that I put out here, which is my book, this book right here.
Yeah.
This book right here, Jewels of Thought and Action for the Resurrection and Reconstruction of the African World. I took the time. That's almost 60 years of accumulated involvement in our liberation struggle. So no, you ain't looking at no novice, somebody that ain't did nothing, ain't went nowhere, ain't built nothing. You're looking at somebody who's been out here in the trenches doing the work and doing the research. Because we're not going to get out of the situation that we're in unless we do some serious research and work. Let me go on. So, are we studying and implementing the literary works, both ancient and contemporary, that instructs us on what we must know and do to actually achieve these things? Or are we simply talking liberation talk with no plan of action to actually achieve it? Most of those among us doing all of this liberation talk have not. No, you ain't did it. And it's not because the information is not available. And I say that all of the time. The African world has a mountain of liberation instructions. I mean, literally a mountain. Now, does that mountain...
A mountain range.
Okay, exactly.
We got a mountain range of information out there, bro.
I got to get that from you. Oh, yeah, I'm going to add that to my repertoire. We got a mountain range of liberation instructions.
Yep.
But the problem is this. Again, it's not because, no, it's because too many of us think that we can simply read the things that our ancestors wrote thousands of years ago, or read the things that a handful of our favorite leaders and scholars may have written. That's the problem.
Yeah.
We want to center in on a handful of leaders and scholars, many of whom made significant contributions. There's no question about it. Dr. Clark made significant contributions to our struggle.
Yep.
You would be a fool not to study his work.
Yep.
And that applies to Dr. Amos Wilson, Dr. Chancellor Williams, Dr. Bobby Wright, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. I can keep on. I can just go on down the list.
Yeah.
The Honorable Marcus Garvey.
Yep.
All of them have been. We can throw. We can put the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in there. He put some stuff in there.
I can turn around, look at all these names in my bookcases right here and give you all those people in that bookcase right there. It's got to be at least 50, 60 scholars in there that we can all recommend to the people.
Okay. So that's letting you know that we have a mountain range of great scholars and leaders who have put significant instructions out here for us to solve our problems.
Yep.
But see, just embracing those leaders and scholars, as great as the work that they did was and is, as great as it was and is, that's not enough. It will not suffice. The success of our worldwide liberation struggle demands far more. And for us to realize this far more, what the far more entails, requires that we keep pace. And this is key. Requires that we keep pace with all of the developments taking place in the modern day world.
Preach.
As well as the modern day revolutionary literature that addresses it.
Preach.
This is what we've got to do.
Yep.
We have got to move beyond our favorites.
Yes.
It's just like me. I have a long list of African scholars and heavyweights. Dr. Nkosi Mundari is one of them.
Yep.
But I got a long, and I mean a long list of heavyweights who I consider to be my favorites. It's no question about it.
Yeah.
But I know that's not enough. I can't just center in on what they say. And here comes a brother Mkuu Mzee. He comes along and writes some stuff that he just put out yesterday. Dr. Clark put out his, Chancellor Williams put out his stuff 50 years ago. Dr. Amos Wilson put out his stuff 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Yep.
Even though their stuff is heavy, I get that. It's heavy, it's great, and it's definitely going to be useful if we're talking about liberating ourselves. It's no question about that.
Yeah.
The Honorable Marcus Garvey put his stuff out over 100 years ago. His stuff is still relevant today. It's no question about it. He's one of my favorites.
Yep.
Dr. Bobby Wright, he put out that book that he wrote 50 years ago. He's one of my favorites.
Yes.
But I'm clear that his Baba Mkuu Mzee, who put out a book yesterday, that means he has not only built a, if he's truly a scholar, I know he done made some references to these other heavyweights who came before him. I know that he has built upon their wisdom.
For sure.
The operative word is he built upon it.
Yes.
I don't need nobody to come to me tape recording what somebody else said. I don't need that. I can go to the source. If I want to know what Dr. Bobby Wright said, Dr. Amos Wilson, and Dr. Cress Welsing, I go get their book.
Yep.
What I want to know, if you putting out a book, I want to know what research have you come up with?
Right.
And what are you bringing to the table?
Yes.
Damn it. The Honorable Marcus Garvey's stuff is already on the table. I don't need you to just tell me what he already said. I already know what he said. His stuff is on the table. Dr. Clark's stuff is on the table. Dr. Ben, just go on down the list. All of them are already on the table. You say that you got something significant and important for the African world to hear and know and read. Okay, I want to see what it is you bring to the table that's not in a book that we already got. This is what we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about when we have to talk about the modern day revolutionary literature that exists among us today.
Yes.
We've got to build upon the stuff that those heavyweights left for us. Not harp upon what they said alone. The operative word is build, just like you, the book that you wrote. You built upon their stuff. I can see it in your writings.
I sure did.
That's exactly what I did. Yep. I built upon the stuff that they taught me. Because I know that at some point, and I say this all of the time, at some point you and I have actually got to achieve our liberation. We can't keep on struggling for liberation. Come on now.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to win your liberation. That's the whole point. The point is to end the war by winning the war.
Yep.
It ain't for you to keep struggling generation after generation after hell, we've been fighting this war for liberation for over 6,000 years. At what point do we plan on winning it and then moving on to enjoying our freedom and independence and liberation? When do you plan on making that happen? We have got to stop this business, and I say it all of the time, of passing on these problems to future generations down the line. Because you and I don't want to do the serious work to end this damn struggle by winning the war. And for us to end this struggle and win the war, it's some specific things that you and I are going to have to do. I said specific, not no any and everything. That's why the stuff that's going to bring about our liberation as a people, the stuff that's on the table that I'm talking about, that stuff is stuff that has to be specific. We're looking specifically for stuff that's going to free us, that's going to liberate us, that's going to cause us to achieve a state of total freedom and independence from everybody's domination and control. And I don't care whether they're Europeans, Arabs, Jews, Chinese, or anybody else. This is the type of information that African people have got to work on achieving and then acting on. Absolutely. And I always underscore that action. You and I have got to act on our freedom and independence. You got to act on it. We can talk until we blue in the face. Your talk don't mean squat.
How about that?
If you and I don't act on it. And let me put in real quickly another little bitty tidbit, but it's critically important.
Okay.
None of us are going to be able to individually liberate ourselves. Because you got some of this nonsense going around on these social media platforms. Well, if you so down for liberation, then why don't you go on and do it? Negro, what the hell is wrong with you? If I could have individually liberated myself, hell, I would have been liberated.
Yeah.
Liberation, I say it over and over, and it's running out my ears. I done said it so much. Liberation is a collective activity.
It is.
Liberation requires the collective thought and action of an entire nation of people. It ain't no one and done. I can do it myself, and I don't need nobody else's help. And then you do your thing, and I do my thing. That's what's got us in the condition we're in today. No nation of people can liberate themselves who can't do two things, who cannot achieve common directions and common goals among themselves. If you can't do that, you might as well even stop talking about liberation, because you ain't gonna achieve it. I said liberation is a collective activity. That means you and I have got to be on the same page. That's what that means. You and I have got to be on the same page, moving in the same direction, seeking the same objective. That's what liberation demands. Did you hear what I said? I said demands.
Demands.
You and I are not going to achieve it. I'm going left, you going right, he going up, she going down. Oh, these over here going sideways. You and I ain't going to never get nowhere like that. I always remind African people, the African world, pardon me, the European world, the way they got all of the power that they got in the world today, they locked into one essential principle above and beyond all of the other stuff that they have locked into that has caused them to be successful. But there's one thing that they did that stands out head and shoulders over everything else that they did. They united among themselves. and they put in the work. They didn't keep talking. They didn't just think that they was going to talk their way into the state of global white supremacy that they enjoy in the world today. They didn't talk their way into that. They put in the work. They united among themselves and they said, you know what? We need to run this planet. And the only way we're going to run this planet is to unite among ourselves, invest in all of the invest in all of the things necessary for us to overpower everybody else. And then they did it.
Yep.
That's how that happened. They did it. Not talking forever. When they got here to America, 1492, according to them, when they got here to America, one of the first things that they did once they started, settling here on North American continent, and then in what is called the United States proper today, when they got here, one of the first things that they did was establish a constitution that all of them agreed on. They didn't have everybody had their own opinion. Everybody just gonna do their own thing. You go your way, I'll go my way. They didn't do nothing like that. They said, listen, this is the Constitution. These are the laws we're gonna live by. These are the laws we're gonna enforce. And anybody that has a problem with that, they're gonna have to suffer the consequences of our military might. That's what they said. That's what they agreed on. That's what they cooperated with. And they built this country. That's how it's done. You have to have common directions and common goals. You got to move as one. That nation has to operate as a team, not as little individuals. That means those of us who claim to be African conscious, African committed, and we serious workers for our liberation. That means you and I have got to sit down among each other, and we've got to establish common directions and common goals among ourselves, agree upon those common directions and common goals and dictates, and then move forward. Now, if you and I can't do that, we might as well go and start digging our grave right now. We can stop all this talk. We can stop all of it. Because, see, all this talking, none of that means anything if you and I ain't uniting and working on it collectively. You're not doing what's necessary to be done to make that stuff happen. Just like you said, and I just got through saying, we got a mountain range of liberation instructions. Problem is you and I are not agreeing on it and working collectively to bring it about.
Yep.
Until you and I do that, it's just talk.
That's true.
That's all it is. It's just talk. No collective unity, no collective action, no collective nothing. Some of us right now, we actually think, we really do. Looking at our behavior and looking at the stuff that we say, we actually think that we can achieve our liberation in front of a keyboard.
Yeah.
All we got to do is get behind a keyboard, put up some heavy quotes on Facebook or Twitter or wherever, some social media platform. So we have this notion that all we have to do is sit behind, I think I mentioned this last time. All we have to do is, go into the comfort and safety of our bedrooms or our living room or, our libraries. And all we have to do is break out the computer and we can sit at the keyboard and just type out stuff and post stuff. And that's what's going to do it.
Yeah.
African people are not, you and I are not going to build a free and independent civilization and culture. And the only thing we're doing is passing information on social media platforms.
Yeah.
You and I have got to get together with each other, roll up our sleeves, do what needs to be done, work with each other. You go to a construction site, you don't see those people on the construction site sitting down with sitting in front of computers talking about how the bricks should be laid and how the pipes should be set and
Right.
how the wiring should be wired. You don't see them doing that. They up there with wire in hand, with
Right.
pipes in hand,
Right.
okay, with roofing material in hand, with hammers in hand. And it's a small army of them
Right.
doing the work. That's what it takes to build a nation. You don't build nations just because you keep communicating. That's the reason. And I wanted to state this. That is the reason why we have this mountain range of
Range.
information. Because we haven't been doing the work.
Right.
If we did the work, you wouldn't have no mountain of information. Because that stuff you would have already did.
Yeah.
That's why the mountain exists.
Yeah.
Had we started doing what the great ancestors in ancient Kemet told us to do. Now we're talking 6,000 years ago. Had we followed the wise counsel of what our ancestors were saying in ancient Kemet about how we were going to fall, if we continue to let the foreigners come into our land, we continued not to act on the things that we saw right in front of our faces. Had we acted on that stuff, you and I wouldn't be here in the hells of North America getting our butt kicked and killed.
Yep.
We wouldn't even be here. So that mountain range is the result of thousands upon thousands of years of clear instructions and clear warnings that African people have ignored.
Yep.
That's why you got that mountain range sitting outside.
Yeah.
Because you've been ignoring it. I ain't acting on that.
Yeah.
So if you don't act on the stuff that you've been told, I say this all of the time as well. Any nation of people that does not act on the truth that they have been told that would save them from death and destruction, if you don't act on that stuff, the only thing that's left for you is death and destruction.
Yep.
That's what's left for you. You're not listening. Somebody is telling you exactly what you need to do. You ignoring them. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this over here. Really? You're going to do that over here and you're not going to address this right here and do this right here, which is telling you in no uncertain terms how you can solve your problem? Well, no, I'm not doing that. Okay. Well, then you have to suffer the consequences. That's what that means. And this is what we see happening again in the African world today. We're suffering the consequences for our failure to act, not our failure, our refusal to act on the things that we have been told and taught by some of the greatest minds who have been born on this planet. And when I say the greatest minds, I'm talking about black or white. It don't matter, black, white, Arab. We African people have produced some of the greatest minds to ever walk this earth. And I mean of any so-called race of people, of any people.
Yep.
Dr. Nkosi Mundari was one of those great minds. He was one.
Absolutely.
And we have many. But again, we keep ignoring the greatest teachers among us. And we start settling for those who, like you alluded to earlier, who's just saying stuff, some stuff that they may have heard, ain't built nothing, don't have no significant literature to back up what they talking about, don't have a track record of being on the boots on the ground, in the trenches, doing the work. They don't have no track record of doing none of that. They done heard something or read something, and now all of a sudden they experts, they authorities on this, that, and the other. You ain't no authority, nothing. So this is the stuff that has to be done. So I just wanted to read that part right there. You know,
Yeah.
Dr. Nkosi Mundari, again, was one of our greatest ones. He
Yeah.
really was.
Yeah.
He really was. And that, like I said, that little clip was powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I were to pick out a portion of his clip, I would have picked that out. I'll tell
Okay.
that. Hey, listen.
Okay. Okay.
So that just shows that great minds think alike.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. First of all, that's the reason why. This is the reason why we kind of clicked anyway, because
Mhm.
we have pretty much the same kind of mindset. I mean, we may differ a little bit on certain concepts,
Mhm.
but I mean, first of all, even though you may look at something a little bit different than me, it's safe to say that we agree with each other on our concepts. It's just that we won't, prefer
Mhm.
that, that angle or that pursuit
Mhm.
of that particular, thought process and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, you made a lot of great points, man, and I'm glad you took the time to do that because we have. Uh, you said about the tools and the devices and the things that the European has used to keep us under the boot
Mhm.
of their control, the oppressive tactics that they use.
Mhm.
And what we don't understand is that the comfort piece, that
Mhm.
part of being comfortable,
Mhm.
that part that we're happy with what we're doing, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's not so much that, yeah, we're there, we have that mindset, but that is a weapon.
Absolutely.
That is a weapon, man. They
Absolutely.
want you to accept the fact that you got your job,
Right.
you got your house, you got your cat, you got your dog. Well, let me put it like this: you got your 1.5 cats, you got your 2.5 dogs,
There you go.
and you got your 5.5 kids. You know what I mean? But then you got all that shit, man. And then,
Right.
and, then, and you come home, you got your Range Rover, you
Right.
know what I mean? And you
Right.
got your big Cadillac
Right.
sitting in the driveway, you got a garage, and
Right.
you are fat, you live in large, and you're comfortable.
Right.
That's exactly what they want you to do and be.
Absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
the tool. That
Yes.
is the weapon
Weapon. There you
that
go.
they use.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And this social media thing is the
Mm.
most destructive tool that they've got.
Oh, yes, it is.
Okay,
It is.
because I go on, I tell you, man, and I want to talk to you about this today.
Mhm.
I know you're not on there a lot, and I get on, I do my 5 or 10 minutes, and I come off unless I got
Right.
something to post. But
Right.
most of the time, I go into my history because I found myself over the years. I dropped a lot of jewels over the years. Okay, so
Okay.
I go on my history. I say, oh man, I need to repost that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
I basically I do a lot of reposting. I don't
Mhm.
I do some original stuff, but I do a
Mhm.
lot of reposting. But what
Mhm.
I noticed on social media is not
Mhm.
just the sisters and the brothers, but
Mhm.
I've seen some sisters that have fallen into this trap where
Mhm.
they talking about, you know what I mean? You got to come over here. You got to have a big dick. You know what I mean? I got the good.
Right.
I got the good pussy. You know what I mean?
Right.
I got all this, and I'm
Right.
saying, how the hell can you go on social media saying this kind of stuff?
Right.
I mean, we don't
Right.
care what you do in the bedroom.
Right.
You know what I
Vulgar.
mean? Even the gay shit, I'll accept that that's what you into. But then
Mm.
why are you broadcasting this shit on social media? Do,
Right.
do, do you understand
Right.
that there's children on this thing?
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I don't get it, Batu. I don't get it, man.
Mhm. Yeah. It's
I
insane.
don't, I don't, it's we have fallen into the cesspool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We are in the cesspool, the sewer.
That's right.
And because
Teach.
we're comfortable, we've accepted it as being normal.
Teach.
We have
Teach.
accepted it as being normal, man.
That's
So
right.
yeah, we ignore the mountain range of information.
Yep.
That's because we've been manipulated to
Mm-hmm.
ignore the mountain range of information.
Mm-hmm. Along with the fact, don't forget, our enemy fear. The enemy fear. We're sitting back, and I say this all of the time as well. Most of us don't want to admit the fact that we're scared of these people.
Oh my goodness.
We don't want to admit that fact. We
Teach.
want to act like we strong and big and bad and we'll stand up and all the rest of that. Negro, get the hell out of here. Your
Unbelievable.
circumstance and condition betrays you.
Yeah.
Because if you was all big and bad and strong and ready to do what need to be done to protect yourself and your people and your family and all the rest of that right there, I say it all of the time. And this is specifically, and Dr. Mundari in particular was, oh man, he didn't take no prisoners when he talked about black men.
No.
Okay. Oh no. Oh man.
We
He
have a
did
we have a huge responsibility that we got to live up to, man.
He did not take no prisoners
Yeah,
at all.
right.
He used to say all of the time, black man, all eyes are on you.
Yes,
And
yes,
he was absolutely right.
yeah.
We walking around here talking about how much of a man and how much of a warrior we are. If you so much of a man and warrior, Mr. Man and Mr. Warrior, if you so much of that, then I'm sure you understand what men and warrior do.
Mhm.
Okay? That's the first thing you need to understand before you even open your mouth talking about that.
You better
You need to
accept
understand what that entails.
accept those conditions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, come on now. You talking about that. You need to understand what that entails. For you to be a man, men are providers and protectors,
Yep,
not only of themselves, but they're providers and protectors of their families and their nation as a whole.
yep,
That's what men do.
yep.
That's what warriors do. Warriors are protectors. They protect themselves, their families, and their nation as a whole. Underscore that, as a whole. Don't come to me talking about you got a gun and you got a rifle, and if somebody come and break in your house, it's gonna be hell to pay.
That's the minimum. That's the
Listen,
minimum of what you. That's the absolute minimum of what you
that's
see.
bare bone minimum.
Yeah,
What you
yeah,
gonna do if they break in your neighbor's house next door?
right,
What you gonna do if they break in everybody's house in the neighborhood?
right,
What you gonna do if they break in all of the black family houses in the city that you live in
right.
the state that you live in? Hell, what are you gonna do if they break in the houses of every black person in the nation that you live in? What are you gonna do, Mr. Man,
Right.
Mr. Warrior? I have said before, and I say it over and over and over again. Personal protection is really an illusion. Not when
It
you're
really is. It
talking,
really is. It really is.
not when you are talking about nations.
I'm
I
glad you.
know
I'm
that
glad you.
personal protection has a role in a person's individual life. I
Right.
get that.
Yeah.
It's because individuals do attack other individuals.
Yes.
Okay. So it does serve our interests to prepare ourselves personally to protect ourselves. I get that.
Yes.
I'm clear about that.
Right.
However, personal protection is not going to protect a nation of people. A nation of people needs Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Special Forces, Space Forces. A nation needs modern day weapons and weapon systems so they can protect themselves. You ain't got all of that. You ain't gonna be able to protect yourself. Oh, cause y'all are able to protect yourselves individually. That somehow you think that matches up with a people being able to protect themselves. No, it don't. No, it don't.
No.
You talking about you want to protect yourself as a people, you have to unite and organize yourself as a people to effectively protect yourself as a people.
And the minimum now, saying that the minimum part was the household defense.
Mm-hmm.
The real minimum effort is militia. Even if we have black people organized, like you said, these white militias do.
Mm-hmm.
There's thousands of white militias across this nation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we have a couple of black militias. I don't know how organized they are, But even those black militias, that's even the minimum. You know what I mean? Because you're going to defend a neighborhood. You're not going to defend a city. You're not going to defend a state. You know what I mean? You don't have an army, so to speak. You have a militia. That's it. So even that is at the minimum of our ability to defend ourselves. So we got to think beyond the militia aspect of that. Like you said, military, army. You know what I mean? All these different things. We need to think on a grander scale. So you are absolutely correct.
Absolutely, because you're not going to be able to protect yourself with just a militia.
You're right.
We saw that with this group, what, NFA or NFAC or,
Yeah.
no effing around coalition or whatever they call themselves.
Yeah.
Europeans have a long history. And this is something that we should have been clear about long time ago. Europeans have a long history of calling your bluff.
Yep.
You say you rough and tough and you walking down my streets carrying my assault rifle, wearing my black uniform, and it's a couple of hundred of y'all.
With my ammunition.
With my ammunition, my gun, my every damn thing. Wait a minute. My drawers. You walking around in my drawers.
My boots.
With my boots, my every damn thing. And you sitting up here, wait a minute. And you sitting up here thinking that you intimidating me? You think I'm intimidated because you walk down the street with my stuff on and my weapon with my bullets and everything else now, and you think you're going to wave that in front of my face and I'm going to be intimidated? Nigga, are you crazy? Maybe you didn't hear what I said at the first part of this clip that we're doing here. Maybe we didn't hear that.
Yeah.
That white folks love to fight. I said they love it.
They expect you to fight back.
I'm gonna call your hand. That's what I'm gonna do with you. You walking around with this gun like you gonna kill somebody and you ain't taking no stuff. And what did they do to the leader of the group, the NFA, whatever the name of the group was? Yeah. What did they do to him? They arrested him.
Yep.
On some bogus charges, said he was pointing the gun at them and all the rest of that right there.
Right.
But see, what was telling was you out here like you ready to throw down.
Right.
When they came to arrest you bogusly and you fully armed, you all ramped up and all of the group is there and all the rest of that right there, I didn't hear a shot fired.
Not at all.
So what that reads out to white folks is this. You was out there just showboating. That's what you was doing. Mm-hmm. You wasn't ready to do a damn thing. That's why I was able to come and arrest your ass, the leader. I'm able to come and arrest you without any resistance. But to look at you, come on now, to look at you, you would think, and to hear you, because he did several interviews. Oh man, all these interviews about what we will do and what we ain't gonna stand for and all the rest of this right here. See, we have a history, a long history of popping off at the mouth about what we gonna do and what we ain't gonna stand for until we face serious resistance. Now, all of a sudden, everything changes.
Yep.
So the moral of that story is stay out of these people's face if you ain't ready to do what need to be done. And, quit waving your guns in their face like you ready to do something. You ain't united. You ain't organized. You ain't nowhere near ready to do anything to them.
Right.
You and I have some foundational work to do. And hear me well on this. Foundational work to do.
Yes.
You and I can get mad at them all the hell we want. All the hell we want. They don't care nothing about you being mad at them. Hell, they figured that you should have been mad at me when I first came over there and started shipping you over here from the motherland.
Yep.
You should have been mad at me. And you should have stayed mad at me. Because I continued to keep my foot knee deep off in your behind.
Yep.
So you get out of here.
Yeah.
You playing. We continue to play. I've said it before and I'll continue to say it. The overwhelming majority of us just want to be happy and comfortable slaves.
Yep.
And our enemies know it.
They know it.
And they continue to take advantage of us because of it.
Yeah, yeah. One thing that one of the things that I wanted to touch on, because we got about, I guess, about another 10 minutes or so before we can wrap it up.
Okay.
You were right about that. About the our resources are are limited, and we need to find out how to manufacture those resources, to create those resources, to have our own resources. You know what I mean? So if we want to talk about doing anything militarily, we need to learn how to produce our own weaponry, our own ammunition. We need to do that, and that's going to have to be something that's going to have to happen yesterday. You know what I mean? So I think that right now we've lost, pretty much we can say we've lost this current younger generation. You know what I mean? They're pretty much gone. I don't know. I mean, I hate to say that, you know what I mean, but we had to start talking to young people more. What I hate to see, what I hate to hear, and I hear people all the time on our last, not the last video that we did, but the one we did last year in 25. I've heard somebody say to me, why do I want to listen to a bunch of old dudes?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm saying, well, damn, why would you not want to listen to some old dudes?
Precisely.
I don't get it. Why are we being made less than
each other? Yeah.
Like we don't have nothing to to offer.
Right.
We're the ones you need to listen to.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because the one thing that we're not going to do, and I know what you're not going to do, I'm not going to present a pseudo scholar and his philosophy to the community. Because I know anybody who's a pseudo scholar and a so-called pseudo warrior, I'm not going to mention his name or her name.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, but I see plenty of people out here following these pseudo dudes and these pseudo characters about they so great for the community. These people that supposed to be, building schools and doing all this other stuff. Why is this man so revered?
Right.
And why are people like that so revered? The young people revere him because they don't understand what quality is.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They don't know what pseudo means. You know what I mean? But if there's no worth or value to the community for what this person has done, the type of work that they're doing or not doing, or they claim to be doing, it's not benefiting the community. Why are you revering this person or these people?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you need. I'm hoping that people who are listening to this understand that that mentality is literally killing us.
That's right.
You need to listen to old people.
Right. And see, that's you hitting the nail on the head when you say it is literally killing us.
Yes.
Because that means you're not getting the information that comes from those who have been there and done that.
Right.
You need to be listening to the people who have been there and done that.
Right.
Because they are the ones who will be able to point out to you the traps.
Right.
They're the ones who are going to point it out to you. We should not, the last thing we need to be doing is separating ourselves, old folks versus young folks.
Right.
So these are the young people. And then those are just the old folks. So them is old folks. We got our thing right here.
Right.
Listen, our thing, all of our thing is the same thing.
Right.
Which is our total freedom, independence, advancement, empowerment, enrichment, and all of the rest of the other things that come with us being a healthy and functioning nation of people. That's all of our thing. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how young you are. It don't matter. You and I have the same thing.
Right.
And you and I should be working on the same thing.
And we should. And we should.
Absolutely.
I will say this, and before we, like I said, before we go ahead, I want you to wrap up your responsibilities of nations, your key points there before we close it out. one of the things that is absolutely clear to me is that people who have these attitudes and these opinions and these assertions about older people, not even the elders, just older people, period, is that you never really had a conversation with people like me or people like Brother Batu or the elders who are in the community. You ever had I know you haven't had, and most of the people haven't had a community, conversation with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that did come out totally different about, oh man, I didn't even know that you think like that, Mkuu.
Right.
I didn't even know that you have a contemporary mindset. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They find out that there's a whole lot more to this package than they thought. They
That's
just thought
right.
I was an old dude sitting around, playing Atari games or something on TV. You know what I mean?
That's
And
right.
so I use artificial intelligence and everything else just like anybody else.
That's right.
I have the latest computer just like anybody else.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I used to build my own computers.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. You know what I mean? So
That's
people
right.
they are shocked when they have conversations with me. They say, damn, man, you're a complicated brother. You got a lot of dimensions to you. Yeah, but you wouldn't know that if you didn't have a conversation with me.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. You wouldn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
but
right.
but my brother,
Mm-hmm.
finish up what you were talking about because like we got a few more minutes here. Your seven supreme responsibilities of the nation, because that's where we finished up. That's where you had to finish up last time, and then
Okay.
go into your social anatomy chart. You compare it to the chart of biological, sociological, anatomical systems. Why don't you wrap that up real quick so we can go ahead and close it out?
Okay. So in terms of the and those are the solutions,
Yeah,
incidentally.
that's why I want you to talk about
When
it. Yes, yes,
when we're talking about solving the problems that confront the entire African world globally, we're talking about values, virtues, responsibilities, and a people's culture, which is their social systems,
yeah,
because that's what you're talking about.
yep,
The values that all nations, all rational, responsible, and serious nations must have are the values of people, land, and knowledge. The virtues that all rational, responsible, and serious nations must have are the virtues of being righteous, intelligent, and skilled.
yes,
The seven supreme responsibilities that every nation of people must fulfill are: number one, we must love ourselves, we must unite among ourselves, we must properly govern ourselves, we must thoroughly and independently provide for ourselves, we must thoroughly and independently protect ourselves. We must maintain continuous modernization among ourselves in all areas of life.
yep,
And seven, we must be the sole builders and administrators of our own modern and independent civilization and culture in the world. That, in a nutshell, is what all rational, responsible, and serious nations must fulfill. Those are the things that we must do as a nation of people. So if we're talking about liberation, that's what we got to be talking about and acting on it.
yes.
Underscore that acting on it part.
Acting. Yep, yep.
Talk don't mean nothing if
Nope.
you and I don't act on it. And then
Before
the final piece
Before you go
is
before you go any further,
Mhm,
the acting part is, and I know that I had discussed this with you very briefly before.
mhm,
Um, I was involved with this thing that we have going on in the community. We had the Race First convention this past summer, but
mhm,
this past September. A
mhm,
lot of people, because geographically people can't travel like that and to get in there, but
mhm.
we put together a group of, we had about 200, I think we had 250, 300 people in that gathering for that weekend. And we put
Okay.
together a bunch of resolutions and things of that nature. And I look back on the conventions of the past.
Mhm,
Baba Imhotep had clued me in. He said, man, the key to this whole thing is building on the work. Just like you said, building on the work. And we look back and you go back as far as 1835, where
Right.
they actually had the first African, what they call colored people, Negroes,
Mhm,
conventions back then, talking about
mhm,
slavery
right,
and being lynched and condemning the institutions of slavery and things
mhm,
like that, and equal rights. And that
mhm,
led to the amendments, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th amendments. It led
mhm,
to those things. People don't. If you don't do the work, if you don't do the research, you won't see that there's a correlation and connection. Now, did that mean that they were actually responsible for getting the amendments passed? No, not directly, but they had a social commentary that was involved, that was heard by other entities, the white what they call abolitionists that heard them talking. They listened to what the Negroes were saying. So that's where the abolitionists got their talking points from and their marching orders from, and that's why we have some of the things that we enjoy today, some of the rights that we enjoy today, off the backs of activism, being active, doing things on a national level. So I just want to make sure we put that out there. The building part that you talk about, that goes for the conventions as well. Okay. So do I know where we're going to end up yet? We're still working on the document. We're going to have that out in another couple of months, and I want to make sure that you get that, my brother.
Oh,
So
for sure.
we can talk about it, and we can build on that. And that's what we want people on a national level to do. Take the document, look at it, take a piece of it that you think that you can be effective in, the so-called, like you said, the sciences, the aspects, the distribution networks, the communication networks, the military part, all that stuff is all part of that. It's all in there. So what is your expertise? Where can you be effective at? That's what that document should do. It's a catapult, it's a catalyst to get people to do things and to be active, and let's to get stuff going in our community on a national level. And I just want to make sure that I put that out there. That I want to emphasize the active part, the action part that you talked about. But go ahead and finish up, brother.
And the final piece is culture. All rational, responsible, and serious nations must understand the principal ingredients that form a people's culture, which is land, language, their system of language, social organization, government, law, familyhood, police, military, education, medicine, religion, technology, and criminal justice.
Right.
All of those social systems are major parts of a people's culture.
Yes.
We say it and we teach it all of the time at the African World Research Institute and at the Temple of Ankh, that a people have to function out of their culture. Once you have established all of the working parts of your culture, now you're ready to take care of business in the world.
Yes.
Until we establish those functional parts of our own culture, we're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
We're not going to go anywhere because you don't have the working parts necessary for you to go anywhere.
Yep.
You don't have the working parts.
Yep.
So, I'm glad you brought that to my attention, what you just got through spelling out. That work is being done to put this information out here, and that information has got to materialize through action. We have got to act on that information. You got to act, and it has to be unified and organized action.
Right.
That's what it has to be.
No doubt. No doubt. And that's what any warrior scholar would like to see. That when you look at an initiative, that you will organize yourself to the point that you can't do it by yourself, that you need it. You should have an organization that you're heading or that you're a part of, and you can get your organization involved with that. That's the whole key to this whole thing. You know what I mean? And if you don't have an organization, start one, make one.
That's right.
Okay.
Get some people,
like-minded African people.
That's right. We supposed to be attracted to each other if we doing the same work.
Yeah. My brother, man, it's been an absolute honor.
Absolutely.
I think this is actually one of our best discussions that we've had so far, and it was a lot of jewels in this one, man. And I'm hoping that we can do this sometime soon. I will stay in contact with you. As a matter of fact, I will reach out to you sometime this afternoon on me getting and purchasing the DVDs and the two books from the brother Nkosi Mundari.
For sure.
And my man, you have a good day. Enjoy yourself.
Yes, sir.
with the family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
And
you do the same.
and like you say all the time, unity.
Unity always, brother. Unity.
All right.
Yes, sir.